Many thanks to the channel members, Rafi Ultron and Brian Bierce, for their valuable support to this project. That said, let's begin with the video. In a dark room, a ray of light slips in as the door opens. It's Haein, who enters alone and silently. She lets her bag fall to the floor and sits on the bed. She runs a hand through her hair before lying down slowly. She seems lost in thought, until something snaps her out of it. She asks what he's doing there and tells him to sit down, since Yeonwon was also there. He replies that he was just taking a look at the house and asks if she minds him looking around a bit more. She sits up curiously and asks what he means, but then smiles and says she doesn't mind, though she adds there isn't much to see. She quickly gets up and asks if he wants something to drink, mentioning she probably has some beer in the fridge. She walks over to check, but is disappointed when she opens it, commenting that there's nothing inside. Meanwhile, Yeonwon watches her intently, almost with fascination. But then, she asks what he's looking at, playfully accusing him of being a pervert. She shakes her head as if trying to shake off those thoughts. He looks away toward another corner and comments that the room reflects her personality well. It's full of instruments and musical equipment. He admits it feels like a musician's room. Then he wonders if there's a sweet smell in the air, guessing it might be coming from a diffuser. At that moment, Haein offers him the only can of beer she found and asks if he wants her to pour it into a glass. He replies that it's not necessary, he'll drink it as is, and asks if she wants some. She shakes her head, admitting she's had enough for today, as she moves to close the window. Then she asks if the room feels a bit small and explains that having 2 floors can make things a bit tricky. But Yeonwon says the place feels nice and cozy and there's also plenty of storage space. However, he brings up a concern, if she can play instruments without bothering the neighbors. Haein assures him it's fine because the apartment is soundproof. She explains the previous owner set it up that way and told her to use it freely. With a smile, she adds that they could do whatever they want there and asks if that doesn't sound great to him. Yeonwon watches her for a few seconds, takes a sip of beer and says yes, it sounds great. Then he sits down and asks if her parents aren't worried about her living alone. Haein says no, her family is pretty lenient. Besides, since she works at her uncle's studio, everyone thinks he's taking care of her. Yeonwon nods in understanding but reflects aloud that the uncle also lives alone. He wonders if he doesn't feel lonely. Then Haein calls him and says she feels a bit sleepy. She asks if they can continue talking while lying down. He replies that if she wants to lie down, she should make herself comfortable since it's her house. But she replies that it's not about that. She lies down and gently pats the bed, inviting him to lie next to her after he finishes his drink. The young man sees there's still quite a bit left in the can, but decides to chug it all and then walks over to her. He lies down next to her, staring at her intently. He comments that the bed is really big and asks if she has any bad sleeping habits. Haein explains that the bed was left by the previous owner, and she found it comfy, so she only changed the mattress. Curious, Yeonwon asks if she bought the blanket herself while moving his hand closer to hers. She smiles and asks how he guessed. He says the blanket has the UK flag on it, and it fits perfectly with her style. She laughs, then clarifies that it was actually made in Korea. Then she asks if she smells too much like alcohol. He says just a little. That makes her blush. She admits she feels embarrassed and exclaims she wishes he were drunk. Yeonwon reassures her and says not to worry, that he doesn't mind. She looks at him in silence, then calls him again. She asks why he kissed her. He says it wasn't a real kiss, just a quick peck. But Haein insists it's the same thing and asks again why he did it, this time frowning. Yeonwon looks at her carefully, then averts his gaze while thinking of what to say. He finally says he did it because he wanted to torment her, to see if she would stop him. He just wanted to know. He looks into her eyes and asks if she's going to run away. Haein smiles and asks if that's really the reason. She leans in a little and says that now that she's looking more closely, she thinks he's a very bad person. She places her hand on him and asks if she should jump on him. She starts touching him playfully and says she's going to see if he'll run away too. She moves her hand to his chest. Yeonwon, visibly blushing, says he's not going to run away. But Haein warns him not to say that so confidently, since nothing has started yet. And in the next moment, she makes him tremble with her touches. He also wants to do the same, but before he can go any further, Haein tells him not to. She says it's her turn now and that she's going to tease him for a while. She tells him to stay still and let her do whatever she wants. She clarifies that she hasn't done anything yet. Yeonwon says he thought she was a calm person, but now he sees she's quite vengeful. She asks if he didn't know that, and adds that she's also a nasty person. She confesses that she has many things to hide, many fears, that she doesn't like losing, and that she's very, very greedy. She finishes by saying she's a miserable woman, and as she says it, she makes Yeonwon blush even more with her teasing.